Hi, I'm Billie from the Gale Borden Public Library, and today I'm going to walk you through some stab bookbinding. It's a great craft for teens and adults and older children. It's great to make your own individual sketchbooks, photo albums, travel logs. You can bind in blank pages, all sorts of things, or bind it after you've made things, your children's artwork, things that you got from travels, all sorts of things to make your very own little books. Today, all you need are 10 sheets of paper. So I'm just gonna pull the camera down and let's get started. So I have 10 individual sheets of paper. You can use any kind of paper. Today, I got this out of a sketchbook that I got from my grandmother's house. So I fold each 10 sheets of paper in half and then take all your sheets, fold them individually one at a time. If you fold a bunch of sheets over at once, it will just create wonky paper folds. So now I have them all folds on this side, and I'm just gonna fold it down again so it just makes it more compact and easy to work with. I've also folded 2 pieces of cardstock that I'm going to use as the cover. So all the folds are on this side and all the raw edges are on this side. In stab binding, the folded sheets are on the outside, so your pages are double-sided. Then we want to mark where we want our needle holes to go. So I have this at about 1/2 of an inch. You don't have to be exact. Most of the times I don't use a ruler to mark. I just sort of eyeball it. So I'm going to make one mark about 1/2 an inch from this side and 1/2 an inch from this side, one in the center, and then one in between both sides. So I have marked where I'm going to punch. Next, I'm going to take an awl. This is a bookbinding awl, but you can also use one that you get from the hardware store that's a little bigger. If you don't have that, just use a push pin. I just don't have a push pin at home right now. And what I'm going to do is put the awl through all the sheets of paper. Now, we're going to have to do more work than this because this awl isn't going to get through. But be careful because it's sharp and you don't want to hurt yourself. One more. And see, did we go through? No, we didn't. So I'm just going to take away half the pages, making sure I don't move this. And I'm going to go all the way through. Now what I'm going to do is take a couple sheets at a time, and I am going to run the awl through to make the hole bigger. This will make your life a lot easier because you're going to have to work a needle and thread through these holes 3 times a piece, and it's going to make it a lot easier if you're working from a larger hole and not having to find your way through a needle. Okay. Goes for those 3. Now I'm going to do this set. This set doesn't have cardstock, so it's a little easier. Make sure that you know where your fingers are and that you are not pushing an awl through your fingertip. That would not be pleasant. Now, the next bundle. Now I made 5 holes, but you can make as many as you want. You could have a lot of tightly packed stitches. You could have very few, only do 3. The beauty of this is it is your artwork and it is up to you to make it look like how you want it. When I'm working with teens in the studio, I always tell them this is how I'm going to do it, but you can do it any way you want because it's your artwork. So there I have all of my holes. And now I have a needle. This is a darning needle I got from a craft pack. And I'm going to use embroidery floss. So I'm going to cut my floss at about 3 times the length. But always be generous with yourself when you're cutting because you don't want to run out and have to redo it again. An alternative to this is to use a hole punch and ribbon. I used a hole punch to punch each of the holes. I had to do each sheet individually, and then I used ribbon to tie it through. When I used ribbon, I started at the bottom and I worked my way up and down. But with this, I'm going to start in the center. Now I'm going to thread my embroidery floss. If you have thread, you're going to want to have to double, triple, quadruple up your thread count on how many threads are going through your needle because embroidery floss has 6 strands in it and you want to make sure that your book isn't going to pop apart. So here I'm going to start in the center. So I'm going to take half of my things apart and I'm going to run this yarn through. Now I could tie a little knot there, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to use the pressure of my hands to hold it in place. It's poking out a little, so I'm just going to tuck it back in there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the top. So I went around and went in through the bottom and I'm pulling it through the top of the book. Now I'm going to go to the next stitch over. But instead of going around the top, I'm going to leave that blank because I'm going to do every other one so that I can come back and catch that needle again. And then I'm going to go to the next one over through the bottom, up the top. And now I'm going to go around the back and through. And I'm going to capture the end there. Now I'm going to go around the top again. And catch the side there. I'm going to now pick up the stitches that I left off. So I'm going to, whoops, losing my thread there a little. I'm going to go like this. Then I'm going to catch the top again. Positioning it before I pull it taut. I'm gonna make up that stitch there. Now I have the full 1/2 of the book done. Now I'm going to do the other half. I'm going to go to the next stitch, but I'm not going to do the top. I'm going to go to the next stitch over, the next hole over. And now I'm going to go around in the top and I'm going to grab the top and the side stitch there. Round the top. And now I'm going to pick up these stitches on the way back to the center. Oops, losing my thread a little. I wasn't paying attention to my thread. So I'm just going to put it in my needle. Now I'm going to go down and around the top. And now I'm going to pick up this very last stitch here. But instead of going all the way through, I'm going to find the center where I have my stitch. And I am going to just put the needle in and work its way so that the needle is coming out in that center There we go. Pull it a little taut, not too much, and then I'm going to trim. You could have tied a knot there, but I'm just going to tuck them in, and then there you go. One very book of your very own. Now you know how to make your very own stab bookbinding. I hope that you look for more information on bookbinding on our Hoopla app. Hoopla has a bunch of books on how to do a variety of different bookbinding techniques. If you want more information on Hoopla, go to the library's website, gilborn.info, for the 24/7 e-library. There you can find Hoopla and a bunch of other downloadable content during this time. If you need help with Hoopla, please contact our librarians by email or text message, and they will help you through the process. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you again.